A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the Friday, November 28th edition of the CBC Evening News and our top story. The critical shortage of supplies at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is putting doctors and patients at risk. That's the claim from the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners. And doctors will now be responding to emergency cases only. This was just one of several revelations from the association after an emergency meeting today. Shane Seeley has the details.
Emergencies only. If you don't have an emergency, we suggest you go elsewhere.
President of the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners, Dr. Carlos Chase, declaring the position that doctors have taken from today as it relates to the treatment of patients at the QEH. It was one of several decisions made at the emergency meeting in the hospital auditorium with BAMP and the Junior Doctors Association. BAMP Public Relations Officer Dr. Linda Williams explains why the doctors have taken this stance.
The current shortages have reached a critical level, and we can only use the limited supplies that we have for the most ill patients. We also call for an urgent change in the governance of the QEH because we have lost confidence in the manner in which the hospital is currently being managed.
And according to her, the shortages are widespread.
In the past few months, we have seen a recurrence of shortages of basic supplies such as sterile catheters, alcohol, sterile gloves, IV fluids, sutures, some IV antibiotics, blood tubes, hand towels, soap, inexpensive medications such as Lasix, heparin, and soluble insulin, and many more common drugs used to deliver care to pregnant women, children, and the elderly.
Now, BAMP investigations reveal that there are big problems with the supply chain because of debt owed to suppliers who have now closed their accounts with the hospital. That's why the association is calling on government to take urgent action.
We call upon the government of Barbados to state unequivocally to the people of Barbados how they plan to fund the QEH in the short, medium, and long term, and to explain the measures they will take to restore the broken supply chain. We are also calling on this government to provide good governance and accountability for the management of the provision of supplies at the QEH. We suggest that a modern inventory system that monitors the usage of supplies from month to month be established immediately.
Shane Seeley, CBC News.
Thanks, Shane. Well, in response, Chief Executive Officer of the QEH, Dr. Dexter James, says the junior doctors and BAMP have given a knee-jerk reaction to a situation that is ongoing, and that was raised with him last Thursday.
It's a little bit disturbing because I would have thought that BAMP as a stakeholder and a partner with the hospital would come and sit with executive management and let us try to hammer out and find solutions to the problems that we have. In any event, as fate would have it, as we have said, all the supplies, including sterile gloves, alcohol, heparin, sutures, and other types of supplies that were referred to by the Department of Surgery, are in the hospital at this point in time.
Dr. James says the hospital is working closely with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance to resolve the situation.
Only this week we had a very, very important meeting with the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, some of our major creditors, and we are nearing the resolution of a solution towards sorting out the outstanding amounts we have for many creditors, and certainly indeed we hope to smoothen out things as we go by. But be that as it may, internally we have to now look at our operating systems. We have to ensure we don't have overstocking. We have to make sure that the systems that we've given places like the operating theater, the pharmacy, the laboratory, and our procurement departments for monitoring inventory levels, these need to be in operation so that we could get a better handle of our stocking situation.
Telecommunications company Lime has decided to scrap its plans to introduce a fee for printed bills for landline and postpaid mobile customers. Ryan Broom has more on the decision that was announced today.
Lime had previously announced that it would be charging a monthly fee of $4.68 on all paper bills sent out from January 2015. However, in response to customer feedback. CEO of Lime Caribbean, Martin Roos, has announced that they will continue free paper bills beyond January 1st next year for those who prefer the traditional method. In a statement, the CEO said Lime is a customer-focused company that listens to the feedback of its customers. He said while a number of customers are in favor of the online e-bill payment option, some customers still prefer their paper bill by post. He said Lime will therefore aim to satisfy the requests of both groups. In the meantime, Mr. Roos says the company is encouraging its customers to sign up for e-billing, noting that it will be part of their upcoming Christmas promotion. He says they will be rewarding customers who have signed up for electronic billing and will not be penalizing customers for printed bills. Customers will receive more information about the rewards at a later date. Mr. Roos added that Lime has upgraded its e-billing system and is inviting customers to choose the environmentally friendly method of receiving their bills. The CEO says receiving bills by email is a growing industry trend that the company hopes it will be able to adopt with greater broadband penetration in the future. Ryan Broom, CBC News.
Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite has revealed new figures that show Barbados continues to record a reduction in crime. According to him, reported cases are down 20% compared to last year. He revealed the new figures in Parliament this morning during debate on the Evidence Amendment Bill. Mr. Brathwaite says as of the 22nd of this month, there were 6,526 cases of crime compared to 7,893 last year.
Theft and related offences, there were 1,393 cases reported. This is 21% of the total crime reported, but that signals a 12% reduction for the same period last year. Assaults and wounding, there were 1,089. This is 16.6% contribution to the total crime reported, which is 8.5% reduction from last year. Residential burglaries, 958. This contributes 14.6% of the total crime, but this is a 30% reduction from last year.
There were 543 drug-related offences, which represented a 28% reduction from last year, while burglaries, which stood at 288, were down by 70%. The Attorney General told the House homicides and robberies have attracted much attention, with many holding the view that crime is on the increase because many of them have involved the use of illegal firearms. He says there have been 22 homicides compared to 23 in 2013. 18 of this year's homicides, he says, have been brought before the law courts.
The weapons used in the murders, in the case of the 22 cases reported, 14 have involved firearms. And I think, and this is something that I will touch on over the next couple of minutes, because it's the issue and the use of firearms and various crimes that has really led to this perception that crime has been a runaway in this country.
The Minister of Transport and Works, Michael Lashley, says the amendments to the Evidence Bill 2014 have several advantages. Mr. Lashley, who is a criminal attorney by profession, says protection is offered to suspects and police.
It would, to some extent, sir, prevent disputes on how a suspect was treated while in custody. It will also, to some extent, deter officers or arresting officers, sir, from using illegal tactics, sir. Illegal tactics to gain a confession or statement, sir, from that accused person while in custody, suspect while in custody, sir. And in short, sir, it will increase public confidence in the criminal justice system.
Opposition Barbados Labour Party members walked out of Parliament today. It was all in an apparent protest over what the party says is the crisis situation at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Opposition leader Mia Motley says she asked the Speaker of the House by way of letter to discuss the urgent matter at the QEH, but this was not granted, leading them to walk out. Well, the only opposition member to speak before today's walkout was MP for St. Joseph and former Attorney General Dale Marshall. Mr. Marshall says statistics provided today do not paint a true picture of the crime situation on the island. He says Barbadians no longer feel safe.
Day after day after day, people in this country are terrorized. I do not know who has pulled a hood over the eyes of the Attorney General so that he could so delude himself that Barbadians are walking about this country free and easy. Not the people in St. Joseph, not the people in the Ivy, not the people in St. James.
Mr. Marshall asked Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite to ensure that prison officers are paid on time. He says when these officers are not paid on time, they are exposed to individuals who would take advantage of their vulnerability.
I heard the Minister of Industry and International Business, when this administration wanted to cut salaries by 10%, complained that he couldn't afford to lose his 10%. He had bills to pay too. Can you imagine a poor prison officer with his family, not 10%, not a penny for 3 months, sir. And by the time he gets it, whenever he gets it, sir, he's in arrears in his mortgage, he arrears in his hire purchase, he might find himself in domestic conflicts, all kinds of stuff.
And we now hear from Opposition Leader Mia Motley as to the reason for today's walkout.
We have asked the House, through a letter to the Speaker, that the House again be moved on a matter of definite urgent public importance so that the country can be given a calm assurance from the Prime Minister in respect of this matter. We are awaiting the word of the Speaker, and you would appreciate that I cannot speak to the terms of the motion any further until such time as we hear from the Speaker. But this is a matter of the gravest importance to this country, because nothing else that we are doing in Parliament today, in my view, can be as important to the lives of ordinary Barbadians as being able to bring calm as a result of the comments of the junior doctors and the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners.
Well, good news tonight for retrenched public workers who have still not received their severance payments. Parliament today passed a resolution worth almost $4 million to make sure they get what is due to them. The resolution was tabled by Finance Minister Chris Sinclair, who also apologized to the affected former workers.
Of course, we would want to take the opportunity to apologize sincerely to any workers who did not get their severance on time. Of course, part of that had to do with the appropriate gathering of the information for the various departments through to the Accountant General for computation and verification. And that has now been done. We do know that the vast majority have in fact received. Some departments were liquid enough to be able to provide upfront, and as I said, others were not. And for those that have not been, my understanding is the numbers are relatively small. But it is important that we do get those resources to those persons.
Several Barbadians took advantage of early opening hours at some city stores to grab bargains this Black Friday. One such establishment was Courts Barbados. Its doors opened at 7 to a waiting crowd. Commercial manager of Unicommerce Barbados, Peter Ellis, tells CBC News it's a big event for that company.
We had a pretty good crowd coming into the store, and many customers who have been interested in several of the specials that we have on offer for Black Friday. It's a big event for us, as it is every year. And we have many specials across the range of our products, including our TVs, our white appliances, our small appliances, and a whole host of products for shoppers today.
Much like in North America, Black Friday is a time to catch up on early shopping for the holiday season. Across the island, numerous items are currently on sale, and for Courts, they expected a good day.
As we speak now, we have all 3 floors here in the Bridgetown branch, our flagship store, actually full of people who are actually shopping, and we are offering samples and food delights and stuff for consumers who are shopping with us today. So it's been going quite well.
Well, more news ahead in just a moment, but first we want to get your take on this question. Do you agree with Black Friday sales in Barbados so close to our independence? Text yes or no to short code 8111. The result at the end of our news.
Celebrate 48 years of independence with up to 48% off at Cape Shepherd Broad Street and 48 hours to shop. This Friday and Saturday, shop for lingerie, toys, ladies, men's and kids fashions, luggage, linens, fragrance and cosmetics, Bijou Turner, sunglasses, watches, designer shoes, beachwear, sports and more with up to 48% off selected items. Up to 48% off sale also on select items at Nicholas House, Vista, Sheraton and Sunset Mall. Celebrate the 48-hour sale at Cape Shepherd this Independence weekend.
Reminisce and bring back the memories. Comey presents Wrap Yourself Round the Flag, Saturday, November 29th at Kensington Oval from 9 p.m. Wear your national colors and celebrate your nationhood with the Troubadours International, Promise, Mr. Dale, Richard Stout, Tony Grisette, Carolyn Leacock, and from New York, Lou Jake Skirton. Tickets on sale at Ticket Pal box offices at $48. Get your early bird and board member tickets at $40. Wrap yourself round the flag, a night of patriotic nostalgia.
On Saturday, November 29, wrap yourself around the flag and celebrate independence with quality Barbadian artists. CBC joins Comey in celebrating national pride.
Oh, lonesome me.
Primary schools around the island went the extra mile to celebrate independence this year. This was the case at the St. Bartholomew's Primary School, where students had an entire week of celebrations. Principal of the Parishland Primary School, Hyacinth Harris, spoke about the importance of having the celebrations.
The independence celebrations span the entire week, and this is actually the culminating activity. And we thought that it was extremely important for our students to be exposed to the heritage of our country as we celebrate our 48th anniversary of independence. We also thought that it was important for them to understand what Christchurch is all about, some of the elements of Christchurch that have impacted on our heritage.
And things were not much different in St. John at the Mount Tabor Primary School, where students also celebrated 48 years. In addition to the classrooms there were decorations all around the school, with students taking part in a talent show as well. Well, the marching will go on. This was the confirmation as rehearsals for the annual Independence Day Parade were held at the Bridgetown Port yesterday. The event was moved from the Garrison Savannah due to the conditions of the grounds following recent heavy rains. Despite this, participants in the parade have been adapting their routines to suit. And regional news is next, but first a reminder that we want to hear from you on this question. Do you agree with Black Friday sales in Barbados so close to our independence? Text yes or no to short code 8111.